let's see. Let's try to upload this thing again, get it started again. Let's see. Yeah, I think we're live. Hopefully we're live. I don't know. We'll go and check and see on the live session. Let's see. Hopefully we are. Yes, we are live again. Sorry about that, folks. This is part 2. I just want to finish the live stream that I was doing. My first part actually froze because of the computer locked up or something, and then it crashed, which I very rarely ever got a crash on this new PC that I have. It's not like my old PC. My old PC used to crash all the time, but crashes do happen. I have no idea why, but it's all good. So let's go back over to Blender. So this was the animation I was working on, and pretty much I was helping people to figure out why the texture wasn't working and so on and so forth. So let me just stop it. But yeah, this is the animation that I got from the Plask, I should say, Plask tool that I was using. So hold on one second. Just pull this character in a little bit. Now I do notice some of the stuff on the character isn't that good. So if you want to work a little bit more with this character that you got from Plask, you can go in through the different options that you have for the texture in the materials area, and I believe specular will help you a little bit. And let's go to metallic, bring it down, and the roughness, let's see, yeah, you can change the roughness a little bit. And then to change the texture for the clothing, you probably have to go into this armature area, then go into the body and the mesh. Let's see. Nope, not the mesh. Lower armor, mesh 2. Let's try that. There we go. And bring the roughness down. And that way it doesn't look so glossy. Crazy glossy look. You can bring the metallic all the way down. And one of these settings is not that good. Something is on crazy. Yeah, so pretty much this live stream was all about Plask when I first initiated and first started, and then it moved over to Blender because I wanted people to see what you can do with your animations, development process, things of that nature. Yes, it's the specular. So I brought down the specular, and now you can see the character is working pretty good, a lot better. This part here, I believe, is it back face culling? No. Opaque? It's not opaque. I gotta get somehow the beard to work out a little better. So let's see where the beard is at. Maybe go into the that's not it. You just got to keep looking around. Maybe you might find a beard. I don't know. There we go. So it's this heads underscore hands, and the mesh 1. You go and you hit the drop arrow, and it opens up night underscore matte. So there you go. So that basically fixes all the textures for him to some degree, and then you can play around and go with your animation. So this is not actually rendered, but if you want to do like a test render, you can test render the screen real quick. So let me do that. Hold on one second. So I can go in and I'm just going to test render doing a viewport render. So you go to view up here and then go to viewport render animation. So this is basically going to take screenshots of every single element of what it's doing and frame by frame. So it's going to capture all the keyframes that you have from start to end. So whatever keyframes that are available for this animation, it will show up from start to end. So if you want to see how many keyframes you have, these guys with these cars are acting crazy outside. If you want to see all the keyframes you have, you just select the bone, one part of the bone, and then all the keyframes will show up in the timeline. Then you'll know how many keyframes you have in total. So I have close to 400 keyframes. See over here. So what I have to do is start from the first keyframe, to the end frame, which is approximately 397. So I just type in 397 right there. So that basically creates the length of my full animation that I'm going to create, the viewport animation. And then I have to go in and change the settings for the Blender render. So you go in through output properties and you change the output to where you want to render it to. So I have it rendered to my animation work folder, and then I'm gonna go through test 5 because I have nothing in my test 5 folder. I created a subfolder upon a subfolder. You can do that on your computer. We're gonna hit accept, and then from there we'll go view and viewport render animation. Now I'm gonna X this out because I forgot to get rid of the bones, but as you can see, it's gonna render everything like it is. So we'll X that out, hide the bones. So we'll go over here. Actually, we'll just press this button to hide everything. And then what I'm gonna do is display the full viewport. We'll go view, viewport render keyframes, and display the whole viewport. So I believe, yeah, I can do that like that. So there we go. Actually, let's X this out. Let's do it over. First, we're going to go to window and toggle window full screen, and then go view and viewport render animation, and it should go in and do it. What in the world did it do? Oh, okay, I know why. It's not that. That's not what it is. So the upper portion has to render the way it's doing it. But I want to zoom out a little bit on the character so I can see the feet. So let's do that. There we go. So then you just let this render. It's not rendering in cycles, so we're good to go. It's not going to take too long. It's rendering in the Eevee render engine. And also, if you're trying to render with cycles while you're doing a live stream, it's going to cause your microphone to stutter and go crazy. So I don't recommend for y'all folks to do that if you're doing live streams, to showcase your rendering and how renders work on Blender and stuff like that. So I think the animation is done. Pretty much went through all the keyframes. That was pretty fast, right? And so now what I can do is go and show you the folder for it. So we're going to go to the animation work folder on my computer and test 5, and then we'll open this up and you can see all the keyframes. So this is all the keyframes is stored all the way down to 397. So that was a lot of keyframes. Now I can show y'all folks a really cool way to create the full-fledged video file. If you wanted to create a video file format and you wanted to move that somewhere, you can do it on Blender. It's easy to do. You just open up a new instance. So you go to the Blender tab, you right click and hit the Blender icon down on your computer. If you're using Windows, I don't know if you can do the same thing with Mac. So while you're having that that actual version of Blender running, this one open, you can open another one, another instance of Blender. So then you go to File, New, and go to Video Editing. That's the quickest way to do it. So it gets rid of all these tabs on the top. You don't have to worry about that when you're doing the video editing portion. So now it's only 2 tabs, Video Editing and Rendering. So from here you go to Add, and then you go to Image Sequence, And then with the image sequence, you have to just find that same folder that you had, that subfolder. So we go to test 5. And when we're here, we're going to select the A key on the keyboard to select all. That selects all the frames. So every single keyframe. And they basically PNG images. Once you do that, that creates an image strip that could be rendered like a flipbook. So it goes in and it renders it like a flipbook. Now this is perfect if you have, like, say you're doing some sort of animation with motion capture for the mouth motion, and you want to synchronize it. You want to synchronize the audio, you can go to add and then add sound. And that goes in and you can add the audio that you recorded. And then that audio will synchronize to the exact specification, the very how would you say, initial movement. So the down to the millisecond, you can do that. But now all I have to do is render it. But you can hit the play button and you'll see it's going to play in the screen, and it's playing at the frames per second that you have it set up at. So right now I have it set up at 24 frames per second. So we can move it to, I had it at 60 at one point, and I like that speed, and you see it goes faster. See? So you can do that. Let's drop it to 50 because 60 looks a little too fast. And this will look more realistic. Like that. And then if I want to render it to an actual video file, you go up to render. Make sure you set the render engine like we did with the output over here. So you have the same functionality as the other iteration of, or other what was I saying, the other instance of Blender. So you go to these different tools, but they limit it to a certain amount of tools. So you have your render tools, so you can render an EV, switch around to workbench and cycles. And then the very next one is the format for your file formatting. So you go to output, turn it from temp. You don't want the temp TMP, C drive TMP. You want to switch it to some pre-designated folder that you created for it. So I'm going to put it in the test 5 folder, hit accept, and that's where it's going to render to. And you also can change the file format where it says here, file format, FMMPEG video is what you want. If you have a Windows computer, if you have a iMac or, you know, like a Apple PC, you're going to go for AVI JPEG or AVI RAW. And that's that. And leave the color to RGB, that should be good. And then you go to render and render animation. I recommend for you to render it in Eevee. It's very fast. So you hit it and it goes super fast, like lightning speed. And then once that's done, it's basically going to be in the format of a video. And this is based on the keyframe length. So it just now ended at 250 because I didn't change the keyframe length. So you want to hit the X and then update the keyframe length to the end keyframe of 397 that I set it at. And now you go start from 1 to end 397 keyframes. So we're going to do that again, render animation, and let's go out of here so you can see what it did. So what it did, it created a video file from 0001 frame to 0250 frame. You can rename it if you want to rename it, but if you want it to show up at the top around where you have all your other images, the keyframe images, then just leave it with the number because it's numerical alpha order. You can also change the order if you wanted to change the order. You go over here and try to figure out how you want to display it. But the way it's displayed by default on your computer for Windows is numerical alpha. So alphabets come last. So if I change the name, which I recommend for you to actually change the names to an alphabet order, because when it comes to you getting the video file, not video file, the image sequence, I think the video file is getting away. So let me try it. Hold on one second. So we're going to go to add image sequence. Oh, actually, it doesn't get in the way. So yeah, you can leave it in the number format. I guess the larger numbers go to the bottom. So it's all the way to the bottom, I think. Or it may not actually show up at all because it's a video sequence. Yeah, so that's why. So that's that. I'm gonna cancel that. But now you'll see that it's done. Let's go in, and this is the finished product. So we right click, we can send it to any video viewer, photos, Microsoft Photos, movies and TV, or Windows Media Player, whatever, just to sample it so we can see what we got. There we go. We can go to full screen, and it's going to keep looping in the media player thing. Actually, no, it doesn't. I guess I have to put turn repeat on. So there we go. So that's it. That's pretty much how you would get your Plask actual video AI footage that turns into mocap or whatever. You extracted video footage over to Blender. So hopefully y'all folks like this and feel it's useful, see it's useful. I believe most people will most definitely know that it's beneficial because you have to pay a lot of money for a motion capture suit. That's the first thing. So motion capture is not something that's easy to come by unless you're using an AI to do it for you. That's why Plask will come in handy. That's why Deep Motion will come in handy. That's why Pixcap will come in handy. So whatever tool that you want to use or tools that you want to use to make your motion capture, that is what it is. It's whatever tools you have at your disposal and what you know how to use to be able to create like video footage, or you can do anything in the online world that requires you to create animations. So there you go with that. Hopefully y'all folks like this. If you feel it's going to benefit other people besides yourself, feel free to share it socially. Feel free to subscribe to my channel on Virtual Intel. I got much more than meets the eye to come in the future. Like I said, I'm going to be doing some animated short films, but most definitely trying to get into animated music videos much more because I love to rap. I've been rapping for many years since I was a young guy. Around 21 or 22 is when I started. I started kind of late for a rapper, but it's never too late to create pretty much and become a creator. So other than that, I'm out of here. I'll see y'all folks next time. If you did not catch the first live stream session, the part 1 before my crash happened, definitely check in my videos archives. I'll go to my main channel and I'll plug in the link to the first part to the video's description area of this live stream. So these are all going to be pre-recorded videos after the live stream is completed. So it's going to show up on my archives. And other than that, I am out. Oh, before I go, for those who did not see the Plask website, let's go back to it. This is the Plask website. This is where I got the tool to be able to pull off what you just saw. If you missed that first live stream, and like I said, I apologize to folks. It is amazing what you can do. You can pull off some awesome stuff. So what you just saw was some dance moves that I got from another content creator. The content creator is Artem Padres. Just to give him credit for, in this particular video, he created this video. If I can pull it up here, and it has a lady dancing in her living room, it looks like. So I extracted her video, applying it through Plask, and you're not going to see it here because my computer crashed. Like I mentioned, the computer can crash, and if your computer does crash, the downside to having this Plask tool is that they don't have a storage setup where you can store a file, but it does store the ongoing session that you're working on. So whenever you reset the browser, it's going to go back to default. It's not going to store it. It's just going to default it back to the original state that the developers have set it at. So that's the downside to using a free version. this is the only version they have. It's free and it's unlimited. You can keep making as many animations as you want, and you can keep extracting from as many videos as you want, but make sure you give credit where credit's due. If you're trying to extract from some sort of a content online, you have to go based on the crediting availability. If they give you the rights to use it, that's when you can use it. If you go and take from people's videos that you don't have the rights to use, you're going to put yourself in copyright issues, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to put yourself into a copyright boiling pit of a whole lot of mess where you got people trying to sue you. That's why I showcased him several times in my other video, because he's the one who put up this video where I extracted the video footage. But on this tool, not tool, but on this website, Pexels, they allow you free usage. So you got legal usage for free. It says what is allowed. You go in through the licensing and you read the details and learn everything that you need to know about licensing, because you don't want to get caught up and get a copyright strike and have your videos taken down, or whatever content that you're putting up taken apart. Maybe you're creating a film or something like that, and they want to take you out because your film has part of their motion in it, or whatever the case may be. So you want to know this stuff if you're using video footage. That's why I focused on it and wanted people to know in detail at great length. But other than that, like I said, I'm out, and I'll see y'all folks in the future in other videos. Peace.